Hello, welcome to my first furry ASMR video. My name is Cryptochrome, but I am currently wearing Nyx. Do you want to see some cool photos that I got to take while at Furnal Equinox 2025? I'll take that as a yes. The first photo shoot that I had the pleasure of doing was for Opal. We dreamed up an idea that involved a local arcade because of all the pretty neon lighting, which I think really goes well with the fursuit. First off, we have Opal standing in the middle of a couple machines with all the glowing lights and characters around them. Next, we got a few different poses. I especially like the "I'm not a claw machine, I'm a stress test" above. Now we got a little bit of Pikachu action going on. Pikachu looks pretty surprised to see a furry. Wouldn't you agree? A little bit of claw machine gaming is a lot of fun. You might just win a prize. Look at that bean, looking right at the camera. Looking fantastic. I like to play around with different lighting and different editing styles, sometimes within the same shoot. Of course, it doesn't necessarily feel like it's the most continuous thing that way, I know, but I think it's a lot of fun. I'm not here to impress anybody, I just want to have some fun. Now we got a little bit of black and white action going on. This really shows out the darks and brights in the environment quite well, I think. And just for good measure, we'll throw in a color one too. Now, Opal's gonna hit us with a barrage of poses, which I must say all look quite fantastic. Oh, so adorable. Oh, look at the beans. Blowing kisses. Such a good job. We got a little closer to Gengar for this next photo. Big hugs. And T-pose for good measure. And now, it looks like Opal's got their eye on some Eevee. That seems like it would be the one that they would choose. And at the beginning of the arcade, there's a creature. I forget what animal it is, but it's a pretty silly little creature, isn't it? It gets hugs too. So we move into the streets of Toronto to get a few more shots. I love the way the sun was hitting in the middle of the day. Our shadows are usually hard to work with people, but with fursuiters, I think it's an opportunity. We even had a fluffy friend come by that was a little bit too enthusiastic. Back to the shadows, and look, a really dramatic black and white one for good measure. If you spot a good stairwell, you gotta use it, right? In this case, we got Opal at the very top, positioned with the Young Street Sweet sign, just to give a sense of location in the shoot. The streetcar was coming at this point, and I wanted to capture it because that's a lot of fun in my mind. Look at that, racing by. And of course we gotta get some good crosswalk shots, right? Confusing all of the locals running about. Scoping out the next scene, the next crosswalk. And another bit of important Toronto iconography creeps into the photos. Of course I'm talking about the CN Tower. That one right there, just in case you didn't know. One of the tallest structures we've got around here in Toronto. And just a little bit of the hotel iconography to throw you to. The Weston Harborfront Hotel. The second last year that Furnal Equinox will be held here, so you gotta make the memories while you can. We got some more kisses being blown. And of course the theme this year is monsters in Toronto, which is a whole lot of fun in my mind. Look at those spooky creatures in the logo. These ones, we were getting a little bit silly with slow shutter speeds. And of course, I got this funny one while I was trying to make my shutter speed perfect. Opal looks very concerned. And again, when we did this one, I was immediately thinking of that meme where somebody is telling somebody waiting at a bus stop to hurry up, and the person says, "Waits faster." That's what this looks like to me. And we moved out to the infamous balcony outside of some of the convention spaces, a place that many fursuiters go to cool off, cool down from all of the hot, sweaty fursuiting. Beautiful place for photos. Beautiful day outside. The wind taking the air up in the air in the not most flattering way, but I thought it was pretty funny. And we got some good ones. As you can see, I like to play around with masking a lot in my photographs. It can really make your subject pop a little bit more and bring back colors where they might otherwise be lost. We had to be a little bit of rebels in this situation because the sign said no smoking, but it didn't say no vaping. Very edgy. Wistfully looking off into the distance, we see Opal in this photo. Ooh, very, very naughty indeed. And now we are in the sky bridge, nearing the end of the photo shoot. What a lovely photo shoot it was. And to wrap things up, we went to the dealer's den to snap a few pics. I like a lot of color in my photographs, and this happens to be quite the good example. Somebody was saying this is called a cosmic brownie. I wonder why it's considered a cosmic brownie. And now we've gone full circle, back to the beginning of the shoot. I am now going to attempt to drink a cryptochrome version of a Long Island iced tea in fursuit, and I really hope I don't fail horribly, because I might. I got a little bit of it on me, but I got none of it in the suit, and that's what counts, right? Okay. Let us change to the next window so that we can see the next photo shoot I have available. Now in this case, it appears to be the photo shoot I did with OEO and the pups. Outside of the conventional, there is this sculpture. Kind of looks like a big metal scrotum. Pretty funny looking thing. But nonetheless, there's a star at the one end. And what more beautiful place could there be to pose some photos? Bear with me because I have to now click through all of my JPEGs, followed by a raw photo every time. Piss poor planning, eh? Anywho, the photos are still quite pretty, aren't they? This pup is a little bit shorter than the rest. Just for an example. And back to the taller pups. Looking fantastic in their gear. We hopped on the bicycles for some more fun. And you can see the sun peeking out in the corner of this one as it was later in the day. And a little bit of fun again with the projected Furnal Equinox monsters in Toronto. Aren't they cute? Skybridge, a very popular photo spot at this particular convention, would not be a complete con experience without it. And now we have a little bit of an outfit change. I do happen to like his shirt quite a lot. PK, 2 crimes. A message I think we can all live by. Gotta give the belly button some love. Poke. Adorable. Such beautiful lighting coming through. I love the way that I was able to use the shadows. And that concludes the shoot with the pups, along with Oyo. Next up, I have a shoot. Not really a planned shoot, but kind of just a casual shoot with some of my friends. In this case, we see Tonic. And isn't he adorable? He actually just remade his fursuit head with new colors and a new, much more beautiful design. Very, very good job on that one. Absolutely love it. And next we have Mel. Isn't he adorable? And this one we now have included Justice. And a little bit more of them, and 3 of them. And in this case, 3 of them in front of this boat. Wonderful. Let's move on to the next set of images. This one is quite near and dear to my heart. So I had the lovely opportunity of meeting Mansters at this Furnal Equinox. And we got to go on a very special dinner date to Scatterbush, which is a quite lovely Italian-style restaurant where he got to order a Long Island iced tea, and I ordered an old-fashioned. Mansters ordered a gnocchi pasta dish, and I ordered the carbonara, which I recommend wholeheartedly. And you see one other photo here where, after somebody decided to pull the fire alarm at sometime around midnight, everybody evacuated their rooms. And I took the opportunity to take a lovely shot here with Mansters and a fire truck, the embodiment of chaos. And next up, we will go to the shoot that I did with Figment. Figment was a whole lot of fun. We stayed in the convention space the entire time, and I think the photos turned out great. Look at them jumping in the air with all of that energy. So good, and such a good fursuit. Their friends seem to have had lots of fun too. And look at this. Birds has such a good color with this fursuit. And so happy that we could get it picked together. And now we're on the opposite side of the Skybridge. Matching the interior lighting to the exterior is always a little bit of a challenge, and it's why every photographer should bring a proper flash with them. Otherwise, you can't get photos like these. Avoiding reflections in the glass is a whole nother story, but I'll leave that for you to figure out. Having some more fun inside the convention space, moving towards the Frontenac Ballroom. Fun inside of the windows, and fun with friends down here. At this point, we were waiting to go on the fursuit walk together, where I would capture some more images for them. And they were inflating all of these big inflatables for the next panel that was going on in that room. Some of them were just ginormous. Where do they find these kind of inflatables? I don't know. I asked them to turn the dance floor on, but apparently it is quite the ordeal to do so, so we did not get that dance floor turned on. There was kind of a group shot, and I was a little bit disappointed. I wish that we got a picture from above, somewhere outside, so we could actually fit everybody, because all of the fursuiters were literally stacked up in this room, and outside in the area that's just as big, and then even more of them outside of the convention center entirely. So we really missed, I would say, probably 2/3 of all the fursuiters when this photo was taken. But down in front, I tried to light figment the best that I could so that they show up in this big group photo. Coming along, now we're outside, and I thought the Animal Crossing guy was so funny. Had to get a photo with them and Figment. Again, having a marvelous time with a gigantic picnic table. Looking off into the water, fun with friends, and being an absolute goof. I love that part. Such a good time. And who doesn't want a picture with a buoy? A life-saving device, don't you know? Getting back to some Toronto iconography, we have two special pieces in this photo. Not just the CN Tower this time, but also the Beaver Dells establishment. A place to get a sweet treat anytime you visit. And now we got a little picture with that. We're back to the beginning. Okay, we're good. And next, we're gonna look at a photo shoot that contains mostly Nico slash their other characters, Chlorine, but I don't think I got any pictures of them. So, this was at the very beginning of the convention when we were all lined up to get registered, trying to make the best of the line. And here we have Kortak caring for Nico in the funniest way I thought possible. And look at that. Isn't that a scary looking dog? I sure think so. Very intimidating. And completely out, just in their own world, waiting for the line to hurry up. Blurry dog, looking scary, on the steps. At this point, the toe bean right here had fallen off, and for every photo you see in the rest of the shoot, I had to manually Photoshop a toe bean back in that place. So, quite the labor of love, I think, but it was worth it. We got a shot here again with birds, and this time Scooby and Kortak having some fun out on a bike with the Leighton Memorial. Lots of fun stuff. Lots of black and white photos. Passed out over the bench. And then up on the bench. Big energy, right? Lots of energy. And this photo, I was stupid, and when I did the panorama, I kind of rotated at the same time, and it made the silliest looking distortion, but you know what? Heck it, I'm going with it. It's funny. The feet look gigantic, the paws look gigantic. It's worth it. More friends, more silly people. Having a good time, doing a dance to the YMCA. Definitely a classic with us. We got Aqua in there. And we're being very bitey. Now we're biting the life preservation device. And at this point, Akema had joined us because he was being being an absolute bean, and he wanted to take me to dinner. The kids that were on tour of the area had a great time and struck up a little bit of a furry dance battle in the streets. Look at that big fluff. More pictures with more streetcars. Love them. Gold beans. Aren't those bean sounds fantastic? I'll save it for another time. Although, maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just do this a little bit more. More fun in the crosswalk. Blocking traffic and being a nuisance. And now we have that dog energy kicking in, going after a stick, giving it big chomps. I like when I can kind of give a forced perspective and you can really get a sense of a big object, but at the same time it looks rather compressed. It looks nice. And some more forced perspective. More chomps. Very chompy today, Cortec. Wow. Eating everything in sight. Fun with the train cars. Look, they're even driving. Isn't that impressive? Where are they gonna go? I don't know. And I think we are approaching the end of the photo shoot with that photo. So let us continue to the next photo shoot. And this one is a series of photographs I took of my friend Akema. We had quite a lot of fun. The time spent at the convention was an absolute blast. He was quite the participant in the fursuit games, doing quite well, I think. Hanging out with more friends there on Team Red. And then out with us with the buoy. And out for a bite to eat and a drink at Steam Whistle. I don't know if you've ever had Steam Whistle lager before, but the unfiltered stuff that you could buy in the restaurant/brewery is much better, in my opinion. Look at that cute bean. Okay, and I believe we are now on the last. Oh, that might be all of the photo shoots. I'm new to OBS and I have no idea how to click through windows. Yes, indeed, that does appear to be the end of the fursuit photo shoots. But since my camera still has a battery that's functioning, I'm just going to stick around for a little bit. And maybe, just maybe, I can have another drink of my Crypticom Long Island iced tea with maybe even less spilling involved. There you go. What makes a Cryptichrome Long Island iced tea, I hear you ask? Well, the secret is you don't put triple second, you put in blue curacao. And then, because you didn't leave enough room in the glass, you don't put in any Coca-Cola. So this entire thing is just pretty much alcohol with lime and lemon juice. It tastes sour as heck, but you know what? It's not bad. Maybe I will make a drink that I can call Cryptichrome by itself. That is a mixology challenge for another day, perhaps. Leave any ideas you might have for ingredients in the comments below. I'm glad that you could tune in for my furry ASMR video, my first. Hopefully one of more, but we will see. This creature does not belong to me, but one day there will be a Cryptichrome. I will suit of this guy right here, and it will be absolutely adorable. And I will do many of the ASMRs